Ooh wee. What's up with that? What's up with that? Ooh wee. What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? Yeah. Woo! Well.
Welcome to another episode of What's Up with At Home. As those of you using it know, ConexEd has been very stable for quite a while. This graph shows how the at-home support cases by month have gone down over time. And as you know, the biggest problem we were having in the beginning was with the whiteboard and with the whiteboards. And this graph shows how the number of whiteboard incidents has gone down steadily, and it's really almost at zero now. I asked a ConexEd user at random what their experience has been, and in the hope of coaxing some of you to leave the alternate platform and come onto ConexEd, I asked him to tell us about his experiences. Actually, it wasn't completely random. Alan Flyer has been supportive from the beginning and stuck with us through thick and thin. But I promise you, I didn't threaten him, and he's telling you the truth. So here's Alan.
That first week and for the several weeks that followed, it was really a challenge. Every day at the end of the day, considering I was working from home and probably working fewer hours than normal, but at the end of every day, I was just exhausted because on top of the learning curve, we were fraught with lots of issues, as we all know, with the video going out, with the whiteboards getting messed up, trying to figure out how to get the whiteboards to work, assuming they were supposed to work properly, and they didn't most of the time. Connection speeds, it was just a nightmare. Fortunately, that started to go away over time to the point where it's become a lot easier to work. It's second nature. To me, it's almost easier than working with the students in the center because now we have to deal with all the issues with social distancing. We all have our masks here. I've got my mathnasium mask here that I made that we have to wear all day long. Fortunately, there's nobody here now, so I don't have to wear it. But you know, it's really worked out a lot better for us, and it's saved us being able to continue the business without a lot of interruption for many of our customers. There are a lot that dropped out, but for the most part, we're in a lot better shape than we would have been if we didn't have a system in place. So for those out there that are still on the alternate platform, I am a big advocate of ConexEd. I think it's been very stable for a long time now. I think it does provide the functionality that we need. I understand that it took a while to get set up, and if you're on the alternate platform, you're probably at a point where you're sort of comfortable with it and you have a procedure in place that seems to work for you. But I understand that ConexEd is kind of our future as far as things like a hybrid model and being able to integrate with Radius and those types of things. So I guess I would say that if there's ever a good time to switch over, it's probably now. Or if there's a point where there's a little bit of a lull in a center owner's schedule, it might be a good time to invest in switching over. But I would definitely recommend it. I don't want to be the spokesperson here for this because when it blows up next week, everybody's going to blame me and not you, David. But I've been happy with it so far. So if all things are going the way they're going, I think it's safe to dip your toe in, and I think it's a good platform. I appreciate everything that went in. I appreciate the headaches that we've all gone through to get to where we are. But I think moving forward, we do have a winner, and I'm looking forward to using it beyond the situation that we have now and into the future.
The main thing I wanted to talk about today was strategies for maintaining at least a 3-to-1 ratio online, which I know many people are having a lot of trouble doing. Becky McDaniels was one of the first adopters of At Home, and she's mastered the 3-to-1 ratio. So here's Becky and her crew to tell us how they do it.
I'm Becky McDaniels.
Otherwise known as the Saint, right? Is that?
I don't know about that.
I'm Kaylin Singleton.
And I'm Ian Allen.
You just have one center, right, Becky?
So we have Brandon Center. We just purchased Riverview, but we're not open yet.
It's very important to us on the platform for us to maintain a 3-to-1 ratio of students to instructors. What we try to do with that 3-to-1 is have no more than 2 high school students in 1 elementary or 3 elementary. We schedule that on a daily basis. We can schedule within 30 minutes of each other. So it's really just making sure that we have the right instructors assigned to the right students. Obviously, you have more students or some students that are online that are very needy. So you don't want to assign 3 very needy students to an instructor. So we'll distribute that amongst multiple instructors. Sometimes that needy student will be with our host. So the host only has 2 students. And we just really take a look at what our flow is that day and what instructors we have on and match instructors to students with that flow.
Kaylin is very masterful at this.
I've been doing it a while.
Yeah, she's been taking care of it since March and has done a really good job.
Using the platform, one of the easiest things that we found is including the start time for the students, so that when Connex goes through its auto grouping, all of the same time students, so all of our 4 o'clock starts end up in the same place, all of our 4:30 starts, and then the instructors, while they're on, only have to look in a very small window to find the rooms they need to switch in between.
And that makes it really good for the instructor to be able to flip back and forth between their students. One other thing is that we have like a team facilitator, and they can float through and just double check and make sure that everyone's, working up to pace. If they have homework, they just check and say, hey, do you make sure you told your instructor that you have homework today? And things like that. So that floating person will usually have like 2 students and then kind of help with the other instructors during those time periods.
What the team facilitator is responsible for is they become what we have dubbed the host of the classroom. It's the one that's in charge of all of the student binders, all of the whiteboards and stuff, so that when a student needs to switch, like say from an assessment that's been assigned back to their binder after they've completed it, that instructor would be the one that goes in to upload the whiteboard, because most instructors, as they are promoted to moderators, don't have access to all whiteboards. So it's important to have one instructor with all of the boards so that anybody can gain access to the information they need.
Did you arrive at this? Was there a certain amount of experimentation, or did you just, what was your journey to get to this place?
There wasn't a lot of experimentation to get to the team facilitator. It was more a result of the fact that in order to keep everything sane on the admin side, one person needed to be in charge of all the whiteboards. So it sort of came naturally that since this is the one that opens the classroom every day, that particular profile would be used as the host instructor.
Does that person check out kids or bring them into the session?
As far as signing students in and out, with the addition of the Radius's instruction manager, our instructors are signing their own students in and signing their own students out.
So it's made a big difference, I think. But really, I think the other piece of that is the going in and checking, and if an instructor is having difficulty maybe with a homework problem or how to teach something a different way, then that team facilitator is able to go in there and support them just like we would on the floor. We're not, pulling up to a table, but we're just jumping in the classroom with them.
When we get a new student, we do spend a fair amount of time familiarizing them with the platform itself, the tools that they have available. We let them use the pen tool and the highlighter tool so they know what they have as options. It's less into the nitty-gritty mathnasium material. It's more giving them a comfort into getting into the platform. They know how to access it. They know how to ask for help. They know where their tools are. They know what they can do. And then we have a scavenger hunt, which basically allows them a board to play on, to use the pen, the text tool, so that we can make sure that they know how to use all the tools before we even get into their first binder.
Thank you, Becky. Mathnasium of Brandon sets a high standard and example for everyone. That's it. Thank you for watching.
Woo! Where?